Hey everyone, and welcome back. First, I just want to apologize that I have not gotten this video up until now. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that life has been a little bit insane for the last 3-ish weeks. Daisy had emergency surgery, Christian had homecoming and after party and all that goes on with that. And then we also host some other things at our house on a weekly basis. Things have just been crazy. I don't need to get into that. That's not what this video is about. But I do want to apologize because I know how important holiday planning is for me to keep my sanity. And so I want to get this out to you as quickly as possible so that you can kind of start the process for yourself to eliminate as much stress as possible. So thank you guys for your patience and for your kind words that you send me on Instagram and YouTube. They're so much appreciated, and it just reminds me why I do this, even though I don't do it as gracefully as I would like to. So what I want to talk about today, and I'm going to break this video into 2 parts. First, I'm going to talk about my pre-planning process, I guess you could call it. Some sheets that I have created that I fill out before I do any of the tabs in this binder. This is what we're going to go over in the next video. Don't let all of these alarm you. It looks like a lot, but I promise it's not. Some of them are just little check sheets, just to kind of help you follow along. But like I said, that's in the next video. The sheets that I fill out before I do anything else in my binder are ones that help me stay on track, help me focus on what really matters to me, what I really want to be doing. You know, for someone like me who battles with perfectionism and doing things for others and being everything for all people, I need to really focus in on what matters and what is important. Not everything is important, and not everything matters. And so for me, these sheets really help me kind of hone in on what I want my holiday season to look like, whether that is fall or Halloween or Thanksgiving or winter or Christmas or New Year's. You know, pretty much for the next 2.5 months, we are invested one way or another into the holiday season, whether that is your kids' school stuff, church stuff, work stuff, mom stuff, dad stuff. You know, we're in it. And so if we're going to be in it, then we might as well make the best of it and have it work for us versus the other way around. So these sheets are so helpful for me because it kind of helps me narrow everything down that is important. Here I've got what matters most, and on here is just a guide to kind of jumpstart my thinking, different things that I might want to do for the different seasons. So I have a fall, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and just kind of what goes along with that. You've got pumpkin carving, porch decorations, crafting, family photos. You can look down the list there and kind of see the different things. For Thanksgiving, whether you are hosting Thanksgiving, whether you want to do a Friendsgiving, what type of inside decorations. Do you decorate for Halloween or do you decorate for fall? Like, do you have to switch out your Halloween decor for Thanksgiving decor? Do you go straight from Halloween to Christmas? What does that look like for you? Do you want to do a gratitude display? Serve your community? Are you traveling out of town? And if so, what does that look like? And how do you have to plan accordingly? We are traveling out of town for Thanksgiving, and when we do, this will be our 2nd year doing it. We run the turkey trot with my brother and sister-in-law and their family. And so that's important to us. Do we love getting up Thanksgiving morning at 7 and going to do that? No, we do not. And by we, I mean me. But it's important because it's a memory, and it's fellowship, and it's sharing the moment in whatever way that moment looks like at that present time. For Christmas, are you hosting Christmas? Are you wanting to do holiday parties, whether that is for your kids, yourself and your friends, your family's friends, your porch decor? Are you making gifts this year? Are you buying gifts? Are you doing both? Different ways to serve your community. Do you want to create playlists for to be played in your home? Are you watching movies as a family? Is there a church production that you look forward to every year and need to make sure that that is on your calendar so that you don't miss it? Stockings, gifts, what is important about that? Christmas pajamas. When do you need to start looking for those so that, 4 days before Christmas Eve or whenever you pass them out, you're like, oh my goodness, I forgot to do that, and now I'm scrambling, going to the store, probably overpaying, because you don't want to lose that memory. Are there local events that you want to do? As I'm looking at this, I'm noticing that I spelled rack wrong, so we'll have to fix that. Do you do random acts of kindness? We look forward to this every year. We schedule it out. We have a calendar that we follow, that we've created as a family. If you would like for me to share that with you so that you guys can follow along with us, I'd be happy to do that. Just put that down in the comments below. And again, are you traveling out of town? And if so, what does that look like? And so these are just things that jumpstart my thinking process. They change every year, but these are things that have been important to our family over the years, but we don't do them all every year. We don't travel for Thanksgiving every year. We don't travel for Christmas every year. And so they're going to change. However, these are things that are and have been important to us. And so I just kind of filter through them every year and decide with myself and with my family what is important to us this year. And so for us this year, what is my deal? I just apparently ran through this thing and don't know how to spell kindness. Okay. Wow. Oh boy. So these are the things out of this list up here that are important to our family this year. And I just write them down here. There's no rhyme or reason to this yet. All I was doing was just going through all of these different suggestions up here that we have done in the past, and what do we want that to look like this year? Because obviously, friends, if I added all of this into every single year, our months would be insane, even more so than, as you know, the holiday season already is. But this is a way for us to narrow down what is important to us, what matters to us, and what we are willing to sacrifice other things for. And I think for me, that is the biggest takeaway from this is I get so tired of hearing people talk about holiday chaos, Christmas chaos. For me, Christmas is such a important part of my year, both on a spiritual level as well as just a time to fellowship with family and friends. And so when it's so controlled by chaos, it just takes away the whole meaning of it all. And, the day after Christmas shows up and you're like, where did it all go? And what did we do? And why didn't I have time for this? And why couldn't I fit this into my schedule? And I really wanted to do that, but we didn't. And those are the things that I don't want to regret. I want to have this as a time that our family looks forward to, and not a time that we dread. And so by using this format, this really helps me stay on track and plan out what that looks like. So after I fill out this sheet over here and just kind of narrow down what is important, then I look at my different months, and we've got October through December. And what are the different things that I want to put into each of these months? So for October, I always try to get our family photos in the month of October. That way I have the whole month of November to create my card. I make my cards every year on the computer. And so for me, that kind of gives me this whole month to get that taken care of. We want to do a hayride. We'd like to do a pumpkin patch or apple orchard. Watch a holiday movie together, a Halloween movie, possibly a costume party. I've heard some rumblings that Chloe is going to be invited to one. I don't know if it's a family one or just her. So I'm kind of keeping my eye out for that. And then what city events? Is there like a fall festival in town that might be fun to go to? So still, these are not set in stone yet on this page, but this is what this month would look like if we did the things that we wrote down over here were important. So for November, the things that are important to us are Friendsgiving. We would like to host that. Community service. I've got some ideas that I need to brainstorm with my youth pastor on to see kind of what that would look like. Like I said, the turkey trot. We start Elf on the Shelf Thanksgiving night. If you are not following me on Instagram, that is where you'll need to go to see all of those. This will be my 9th year or 10th year. I don't remember. I think it's 9 that I have done that and put those up. And so just a little bit of sparkle every day with that, but then also to give you guys ideas of kind of how you can incorporate it into your home if you're Elf on the Shelf people. So follow along on Instagram if you want to see that. But we start that on Thanksgiving night. I need to start thinking about staff gifts for Sam's employees and what that's going to look like. I put that down in November because I like to have it finished by the end of November so that we can start passing them out the 1st of December, and that's done. It's not something else that I have to add to my schedule over here in December. I feel like November is kind of a little bit of a buffer for December. Kind of gives me a little bit of wiggle room to get some of the other things done beforehand. It kind of goes back to my thinking, what can I do today to save my sanity tomorrow kind of mindset. So I do the staff gifts, our friends gifts. Like I said before, I create our card and get that all ready to go. I like to send out our card like the last day of November so that, again, it's all done for the month of December. It gets to people, especially if you've moved, had an address change, something like that. Then that just kind of gives people a heads up for when they go to send you a card. That way they're not wasting a stamp and getting that sent back to them and like the whole thing. Exterior lights, we usually put those up outside every year, and so whether or not I need to schedule that or try to get out there, before it snows or between snows, to be able to plan for that. Christmas pajamas, I always buy those in November so that I'm not scrambling around in December. Plus, this is kind of how we open our Christmas season, and I'll talk more about what that means in a second. And then over here in December, again, community service. That kind of goes hand in hand with over here where I was talking about it in November, but I would love to do it twice, like once each month. And then Christmas parties, both Christian and Chloe want to have a class party at their home, and that's important to them this year. And so because of that, that's important to me as well. I want to have a favorite things party again this year. I've done it for the last 4 years, and we didn't get to do it last year because of COVID. And so it's really important to me to get that back up and going. I missed that fellowship. I know others missed that fellowship, and it's just needed. We're hosting Christmas this year, and so because of that, I will fully be able to show you all of my planning sheets and exactly how I'm using them this year, because we will be here. I want to have lanterns on my driveway. I've talked about this for years and years and years, and I have never done it. And I've regretted it every year because I think they are beautiful and they are peaceful. And so often, you know, you're driving home when the sun is already down if you have kids and sports and events and whatever. But even through the holidays, you know, you have your own events. And so lots of times you're driving home when it's dark. And I don't know, there's just something about driving down the driveway to candles on the side that just kind of break the crazy, I guess is another way to say it. But it just kind of provides a sense of calm before you even enter your home. And so that has been something I have always wanted to do. And this year I am absolutely doing it. And I will share how I do that with you guys. Christmas decor, that is important to me. It's kind of funny to me that I have this over here in December, because I would love nothing more than to have it over here in October, but I am refraining. But it will be in November, just so that you know. But this is just kind of something that is for sure going to be done. Let's just do this here. Okay, so I usually put my Christmas decorations up like the second week of November. We used to have to travel for every holiday because we were the only ones that lived away from family. Everybody else was in the same location on both sides of our family. And so I would put it up earlier because, let's face it, putting up Christmas decorations, it's not a 30-minute gig usually. And so you invest time and energy, and I wanted to benefit from that time and energy and be able to actually see it for longer than 2 weeks. And so I would put up our Christmas stuff because we usually traveled between Christmas and New Year's. And Thanksgiving for that matter. And so it was important for me to be able to see that. And so I've just never stopped now that we don't have to travel as much because we live closer to family. Y'all didn't really ask for all that information, but I sure gave it. And so moving down, look at this, friends. Like, who spells kindness with a C? How would I not just automatically notice that? Okay, like I said before, we do rack random acts of kindness. We have a calendar, the whole thing. Again, I will share that if you're interested so that you guys can follow along. Just comment down below if that's something that is of interest to you. I think I finally figured out how to share printables with you, but I have had a lot of people ask me to put my Christmas planner on Etsy. So I'm also looking into that as well. If you're interested, then put it in the comments down below as well. Stockings, family gifts, playlists. Are playlists important to you? Do you want to have a playlist for each different party that you're hosting? Do you want to have a playlist for during the week, different Christmas carols that you're singing? Or, you know, something in November. I feel like November kind of gets a little bit lost in between Halloween and Christmas. So do you want to have a special playlist for the month of November? Maybe songs of gratefulness or gratitude or blessings. Do you want to have a playlist for Christmas Day that you want to put on? What does that look like? I do all of mine on Spotify. I would be happy to share them with you guys and put that link up on Instagram if you're interested. I know a lot of people don't have Instagram, and so I've toyed with the idea of doing Facebook. I hate Facebook, friends. I just do. There's so much negativity on Facebook that I had to just pretty much remove myself. But I will do it for that, if that would help some of you that don't have Instagram. What else? I would love to go see the Branson lights in Branson, Missouri. We love Branson. We actually are in the process of buying a place out there. We love it so much. And so I would absolutely love to do that. I don't know if that's going to work this year because of the parties and the whatnots. Anyway, so like I said, these things aren't fully set in stone yet. I want to bake treats. Are there any city events that we want to do, like downtown in the plaza or whatnot? Church productions. Church of the Resurrection has an amazing Christmas program every year, and I am hoping and praying that they're going to do it this year. I don't know. It's so good, and we missed it so much last year, but I haven't heard whether or not they're doing it this year or not. I always try to do a homemade ornament with the kids so that we can remember and they can take it on with them when they move into the dorm, when they go to college or whatever, just so that they have different things to remember our Christmases passed by. And do I want to do a craft night with my friends? I thought that would be so much fun, but again, where do we put it all, right? And then a New Year's Eve party. Do we want to do that this year? So New Year's Eve is also my birthday, so that kind of, there's that. But it's something that, we think we want to do until we look at the calendar, and then it's like, do we have time and space for that? The next pages are my troubleshooting pages. And what I mean by troubleshooting is, out of everything that I looked at over here, what would be some reasons that I would not be able to accomplish that? And so what I do is I break them all down. The things that not really worry me that I can't get done, but the things that might not get done because I didn't plan accordingly. What does that look like? So for the apple orchard, I would need to actually schedule a time to do that, whether it's with or without friends. Our family pictures, why wouldn't I be able to do that? Well, because I didn't put clothes together, if that is important, what we're wearing. I didn't schedule the time. I didn't figure out where we were going to go and have them done. The last 2 years, I've taken our family pictures, and so I don't really have to rely on somebody else's schedule to do that, but I do have to make sure that we're all available to be in the photo. So I need to look at that. A Halloween movie, why wouldn't it happen? Well, because we didn't schedule for it. We didn't pick out a movie. Friendsgiving, I would need to actually plan the date to have that. I would need to create the invite, whether that is something that you actually create and make a formal invitation, or you just send it out in a text. What does that look like? And then actually send it out. Plan the meal and delegate. I am not good at this, friends. I am so bad at delegating, but it is so important to do to keep your sanity. The Christmas card, why wouldn't I be able to do it? Well, we didn't get the photo or photos. I didn't create it. I didn't print it. And then I would want to send it by November 29. I've never had a problem with this, but these are all things that have to happen in order for people to receive our Christmas card. And then for staff gifts, I'm doing wreaths this year, like front door wreaths, the real ones. And then I want to add maybe like some chocolates or something like that to it, and like a really pretty bow. But I need to find a greenhouse that does that and actually place the order, because usually you can't just show up and buy that many wreaths. Community service, what does that look like? I would need to plan that with our youth pastor if I want to, go about it that way and involve our youth group. I would need to do a sign-up genius for the different things that would need to be brought to the event to accomplish it. I don't want to say any details right now because I know people watch this and I don't want to spoil that. I would need to plan the date and send the invite. Christmas parties, pick the date, create the invite, send the invite. Again, this doesn't have to be fancy. It can be in a text, but it does have to be done in order to have the event. So if you kind of look, there's a pattern here. If you don't plan for it, if you don't schedule it, more than likely it is not going to happen. Our minds are carrying a lot for the next 2.5 months, and you just forget about things, and time slips by so fast. And so we just need to be really intentional about making the holidays what we want them to be. And it'll all be fine. Favorite things, again, pick a date, create the invite, and send the invite. Local events, actually go and see what the local events are and plan when we're going to do that. Rack, oh my gosh, this is like the running joke today, friends. Okay. Have a plan to follow, put our calendar together, and then put all of that in the phone and my planner. That way I can see it during the day when I'm out and about and know what we need to do today to be able to do our act of kindness for the day. Christmas PJs, again, buy in November. I'll go through these really quickly because they're pretty self-explanatory. Drive to see lights, you'd actually have to figure out where you're driving, schedule a time, and who's going. Are you going as a family? Are you doing a caravan type deal? Lanterns in the driveway, find waterproof votives because I'm not looking to light anything every day. Y'all know about that. Like, the only things I light in my house are like smelly candles. Playlists, go on Pinterest, find different songs. You don't need to recreate the wheel. Just find ones that you like. And like I said, if you want me to, I will share that on Instagram and Facebook. If you don't have Instagram, just comment down below so that I know. Holiday treats, add a baking day to the calendar, have your recipes ready. Nobody needs to be searching through Pinterest or wherever, hundreds of cookbooks trying to find that perfect holiday recipe. No, just find a couple and print them out, have them in your kitchen somewhere, in your planner, and call it a day. Branson lights again, schedule the weekend. I'd love to see Jesus while I was there. Not the real Jesus. Well, I would love to see the real Jesus. But Sights and Sounds is doing Jesus until the end of the year, and I would love to see that. Christmas tree, I want to do kind of like a redo this year. I've got a different idea that I want to do, and so I need to figure out that theme. I need to plan the decor, purchase what I need, and try to use as much of what I already have as possible. Movie nights, plan the nights. Even if it's during the week, like even if we are eating supper together while we're watching the movie together, we're still accomplishing this. We are still rejuvenating, re-energizing, spending time together, and you just have to make it work for you. Make friends gifts. This goes along with my decide once philosophy. Everybody gets the same gift. I don't need to be giving hundreds of different gifts to different people. That's so not necessary. If that's your thing, I love it. For me, I need to have it more simplified. And so I decide once what I'm going to give everybody for the year, and who am I going to give it to, and when am I going to give it to them. And then New Year's Eve party. Who would we have? I would need to send out an invite. What are we going to do? Are we going to do minute to win it games? Are we just going to sit around and talk and eat and talk about how much we've eaten up to this point? What is that going to look like? Next is our holiday rules. We set rules in our household to try and control the crazy so that it is manageable. And so on this page over here, this is my house rules brainstorm. And What this is different things that are important to me to focus on and important to our family throughout the holiday season, and how we are going to stay balanced through everything, and what the rules are to do that. So like I said, this is just the brainstorm side. These are the different things that kind of pop up. Only one set of events, back-to-back per week, weekly movie night to reset and reconnect, reschedule or schedule rest, set realistic expectations, soften expectations, present over perfect. Like I said before, I struggle with this. Delegate tasks, I struggle with that as well. Say no to feeling guilty, still struggling. Check on your finances often. This is such a huge one. We have a budget for Christmas and the holidays every single year, and it's important to follow this for us. I feel like when you don't know how much money is going out, it can just create some really bad feelings throughout the holiday season or after the holiday season, feelings of regret. And that is not what this is supposed to be. So for me, I try to follow along to this very closely and make sure that I am on track with what I wrote down in all of these other pages over here that I will show you in the next video. And then exercise. I struggle with this too because it's something else that I have to do for me, and I don't take care of me very well. All right, so then over here, I break it down into 5 things. Out of all of this, what are the 5 things that are important to me that I want to do during the holidays, or that our family wants to do? I feel like if you add more than 5, it just becomes a little bit overwhelming. I feel like 5 is doable. You can do 1 every day and have 2 free days, if you want to look at it like that. Anything over 5, I don't know. I feel like you're getting over realistic. That's not even a phrase, but you know what I mean. Don't make it hard. This whole process is supposed to eliminate stress and stuff to think about. So just don't make it hard. Even if you need to narrow this down to 3, do that. Even 2. Like 2 is okay too. And so for me, what I kind of compressed this into is present over perfect. Set realistic expectations. I just kind of combined a couple over here because they pretty much fall in the same family. See from another person's eyes. Like, sit back and look at what you're doing from your family's eyes. I am so hard on myself, and half the time, more than half the time, like probably 95% of the time, my family does not care. They don't have to have everything perfect. They don't want everything perfect. And even if we do something mediocre, but we're spending time together, it's enough. It truly is enough. And so if you struggle with that, step back and kind of see how somebody else might be looking at the situation. Let's see, schedule time to rest and rejuvenate. Our bodies just can't go. You know, I'm so thankful for me and my family. We have the Sabbath to stop, and it's just kind of like a automatic pause that we do, that Jesus has given me the okay to sit down. And so I look forward to that every single week, and I'm so thankful for it. But aside from that, just different little breaks in your schedule to take care of yourself and your family. So what that would look like was the weekly movie night that I was talking about before. This is how we would rejuvenate and rest and spend time together as a family. Daily exercise, so I added this into that. This is just a way for me to just stop checking the list, and to not only kind of reset my mindset, but do something that is kind of refueling and rejuvenating my body as well. Only 1 set of back-to-back events per week. whether that's like a school event earlier in the day and then adding something on after that. Or sometimes this gets a little bit tricky with Sam because throughout this season he has a lot of obligations, places he has to be, and so that kind of gets a little bit tricky. But then that just tells me, like, don't try to schedule other stuff around that. Say no to feeling guilty. This is hard for me because I want to be able to tell myself that I can do it all. And so just reminding myself, and that's why I wrote this down here, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? My family, my sanity, my rest, balance within my home and my mind and spirit. I'm saying no to peace. I'm saying no to moments that I would miss with my family or with my friends or with myself. And being okay with that. It's okay to say no. I'm learning that more and more over time. I don't have it figured out yet, but I am learning more and more that when I don't say no to certain things and I push myself to do them, having not really wanted to do them in the beginning, I start to resent the whole process and sometimes the people. And that's not a good thing. It's not fair to those people because I'm actually the one that said yes. They just asked. So just kind of finding the balance in that. And again, check finances often. Stay on track, follow the list and the plan that I created in these sheets, and we will be good to go. And then lastly, just adding it to the calendar. So I have October through December here on these sheets, and I'm not fully finished adding everything. I need to go over the schedule with Sam. He's traveling, so that's a little bit hard to do right now. But being able to just kind of know what I have to schedule already, that is already on the list, and then adding these things to that. So family photos we're doing this weekend. I'm going to try to do a pumpkin patch while we are in Branson. Hayride next Saturday night, possibly a costume party. Like I said, I'm still waiting to hear on that. The Hope Bags, this is the community service that I was looking to do. Friendsgiving, Turkey Trot, Thanksgiving, we start Elf on the Shelf, send out cards. Oh my goodness. Friends, look at this. What do you think it's gonna be? I just think I totally lost my marbles this morning on how to abbreviate rack. Good grief. Okay, I'd like to start rack the first day of December. Chloe has a dance, which then I need to get a dress for. Favorite things party, the kids' school parties. I wrote down finals here. They're both going to have finals the 15th through the 17th. And so this is just a reminder, like, don't try to schedule stuff right here if we don't have to. Because they've got a lot going on in their minds and studying and the whole thing. So this just kind of needs to be like a pause right there. But if I didn't write that down, I wouldn't think of that as I was entering all of the other things in. And so I will go through here and mark down like movie nights and just the different things that would need to be scheduled, like the bake day, if I'm going to do that, or bake days. And then I can just look at these and add them to my actual calendar, but that way I have them kind of separated and I can see what we're accomplishing. And then these are our opening and closing ceremonies. And what that looks like, this is my first year of doing this. And I'm kind of excited to do it, actually. My tripod is not wanting to work with me here. Okay. What this is how we are opening and closing different seasons and different time periods. So fall, we opened it with a bonfire, s'mores, and blankets. Kind of had to lose the blankets quick because we were roasting to death. So we might try to do this again now that it's getting a little bit cooler at night. You know, I like to start fall early, so it probably was premature. And And how we're going to close that. The closing parts are still a little bit tricky for me, especially when you get down here with like winter, Christmas, the whole thing, like how do you close that out? I've got some ideas, but still toying around with that. Halloween, friends, I hate Halloween. I just do. I have this on here, number one, because if I put this on Etsy, I know a lot of people get into this, and that's great. Like, each to their own. I just wasn't really raised celebrating it or doing much around it other than trick-or-treating. And now that my kids are past trick-or-treating age, I don't have to really do the costume and the candy and the whole thing like we did before. But there are still some things, like if you do costume parties or, you know, class treats or whatever. Again, my kids are middle school and high school, so those things aren't allowed at that age. But, you know, everybody does it differently. Thanksgiving, we do a daily gratitude kind of tree type deal. Each year it's a little bit different, but it's usually like writing gratitude things on leaves. I think I'm going to display it in the front this year where I usually put our Christmas cards. Toying with that idea, and then the closing of that will be taking that down and putting up Christmas cards as they come in. It doesn't have to be hard. Like, we don't need to make this hard. It's just something that we kind of start as a tradition. It's kind of how I look at it, and so just make it simple. Don't make it so hard that then it's not achievable. How do we want to bring in winter? I'm thinking fireplace, hot chocolate, chocolate chip cookies, which would mean I would need to make these ahead of that day. And just kind of sitting around and spending time with each other. Maybe that just looks like sitting on the couch and asking your kids about how their day was at school. Again, it does not have to be hard. Closing it out, I don't know, maybe going ice skating, maybe like that last sledding adventure. Christmas, we kind of already do this. We just start playing Christmas music in the car. Like, we are kind of driving maybe to church or whatever, and it's like, all right, it's time. And so we do that. And I was thinking maybe to close it out like one last Christmas movie with homemade pizza, which would mean I would also have to prepare the dough. And then for the year end, we like to go back and look at what went well, what did not go well at all, and what we would need to change, and kind of how we accomplished some of the goals that we had, or how we did not accomplish goals that we had. And for closing, plan that process. How are we going to do better next year to just keep growing ourselves, growing our family, growing our community? What does this look like? What are the plans that we have for the future, and how are we going to navigate and tackle them? And that is it for that. Once I finish that, I then move into these tabs over here. And like I said, I will go through all of that with you in the part 2 of this. It's super easy. Don't be intimidated by the number of tabs that you see. But I really do think that they will help you stay on track. And I hope that you've enjoyed the first part of this. I hope that it will kind of help you kickstart your planning process so that your holiday season is the best one yet this year, that you can enjoy the moments, that you can remember the moments. So often I've like gone through something and it's over and I'm like, I like literally don't even know what just happened. And was I even there? And sometimes, sadly, mentally, we are not there. And so these are just different processes to put into your planning process, your lifestyle, your home dynamic, family dynamic, to allow you to remember the moments that you were at, and to just help you have a stress-free, I feel like that's such a cliche, but truly a stress-free holiday. Like, no more with the talk of like chaotic Christmas or Christmas chaos or crazy holiday season or whatever. It doesn't have to be that way, friends. We bring so much of that on ourselves. because we don't take the time to stop and plan and just kind of literally make a plan. And so I think we can just walk through this together this holiday season and help each other be able to come out on the other side of it and say, you know, that was really awesome. That was the best holiday yet, because I took the time to create what I actually wanted it to look like, and I wasn't just flying by the seat of my pants, usually for other people. Like, we need to learn to say no to different things and say yes to the things that matter. So I will be posting part 2 either tomorrow. It will be before Monday, for sure. I'm not going to say I promise, but for sure. And hopefully I can bust maybe it out later tonight or in the morning before we leave. But in the meantime, start planning this. And again, if you guys will be interested in me opening up an Etsy store kind of through the holidays, that way you can pick which ones you actually want to do. But if they would be of benefit to you, if you don't want to just kind of write down what I've already got going on here and just have something that you could actually print off and have done and start right away, then that's fine too. Post in the comments down below and let me know. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and just remember, be intentional about the life that you want to live. Don't allow the space between where you currently are and where you want to be to intimidate you. Allow that to drive you and to motivate you to get to where you want to be. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.